What's up, schmucks, and welcome to Turkey Bites, the show where we take a little bite out of the latest movie news. So, some years ago, there were reports that Mike Flanagan, known for Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass, amongst others, had pitched a Clayface movie to DC. These reports kind of fell to the wayside until today, because now there are new reports that a Flanagan-directed Clayface movie is in development, and oh my god! I'd like to come in here with a quick little editing note. When I wrote this and recorded it, there were rumors that Flanagan was going to write and direct a Clayface movie. As of right here in this moment that I am saying this, the new reporting is that it is a Flanagan written Clayface movie. It is unconfirmed if he's going to direct. And so I considered rewriting and re-recording this video, but I figured it's very likely he will write and direct this, so I'm going to just leave it as is and we'll see what happens. Alright, back to Roast Turkey from like a week ago. I love Clayface. He is my third favorite Batman villain, and I also adore Flanagan's work. This movie could fix me. I am kind of amazed DC would even allow villain solo movies off the back of Joker 2 flopping, but hey, I'm not complaining. Also, Penguin did really well, so maybe they're gonna ride that wave. Now, I am not at all interested in discussing where this movie is going to be placed. It could be set in James Gunn's DCU. Creature Commandos has already confirmed Clayface exists in this universe, or it could be set in the Matt Reeves Batverse, although that is 100% not happening. Hell, it could be set in the Jokerverse. My point is I do not give a shit. Mike fucking Flanagan might be making a movie about my third favorite Batman villain. That's all I care about. So which Clayface are we doing? Everyone knows the version that has become the norm, but there are a few other variations on Clayface that could lend themselves to excellent solo movies. Original Basil Karlo is out because he's just a powerless serial killer, and that's not interesting enough for this. Current day Basil Karlo, on the other hand, seems like the obvious choice, but there are still some things to draw from the other Clayfaces, mainly the third Clayface. The third Clayface is a guy named Preston Payne. The TLDR of his origin is that he has a skin condition and he ends up using the blood of the second Clayface, Matt Hagen, to devise a cure, but it goes wrong and turns him into a big mud monster who uses a cryo suit to stay alive. Preston Payne Clayface also has a lethal touch where if he touches you, you melt, and I think that could lend itself to some solid body horror. Payne is also in love with a mannequin because it's the only person he can touch without melting them, and I would fucking love to see this done in the movie. A sad, broken man finding anything he can to grasp onto what's left of his sanity? Hell yeah! The second Clayface, Matt Hagen, and the fourth Clayface, Sandra Fuller, both use their Clayface powers exclusively for criminal crimes. But Preston Payne Clayface is afflicted with a horrific disease he desperately wants to cure. This could be absolutely heartbreaking and incredibly compelling in live action. Honestly, if you do the Basil Karlo design with the Preston Payne characterization, you kinda have a winner on your hands. But let's talk design. I think it's unlikely we see a big mudman as the star of a solo movie. I think it's likely that they'll go with something more subtle but still gross and grotesque. Something akin to The Fly or Lee Winnell's Wolfman take. Something still clearly a man, but also unsettling to look at. I would be satisfied with a Clayface with minimal powers and a more subtle design. In Batman the Animated Series, he starts as an actor with a mushy face due to a skin condition. So he uses his mushy face to alter his appearance until he eventually becomes a big mudman. But a mushy, distorted, droopy face in live action could be really gross. Maybe his bones are moldable too, and he can grossly misshapen his hands into fine points as weapons or something. You know, just something really disgusting. I would love to see practical effects akin to The Thing as a way of showing off Clayface's horror. I think if Mike Flanagan, the horror guy, makes a Clayface movie and doesn't cash in on the opportunity for body horror, then we're just wasting everyone's time. I do think it's unlikely we see serial killer Clayface, but we may get a combo of Karlo and Payne like I mentioned earlier. Karlo for the recognition and maybe the actor background, but Payne for the tragic and sympathetic characterization. A hotshot actor losing his spot in Hollywood while also turning into a disgusting monster who can't be touched or loved by anyone? Holy shit. Flanagan, DM me. We'll write this in a weekend. I am curious if Batman will be in this to an extent. Batman does play a very pivotal role in each Clayface's story. You probably could get away with no Batman like Joker, but I think Batman should be in this. If we do go with Preston Payne's story, then having Batman in this as an antagonistic force trying to stop Payne from curing himself could be a really interesting take on the character. We may end up rooting for Clayface against Batman in the end. And the last thing I want to touch on is casting. It's impossible to say who should play Clayface Clayface at this point since we don't know the direction they're gonna go. But when it was rumored Clayface was gonna be the villain of the Batman Part 2, my brain said either Bill Hader or Penn Badgley. Two men who can absolutely play vile, narcissistic serial killers with an ounce of pity. I think they would nail it. Or, you know, do everything I said but with Sandra Fuller and cast Kate Siegel. At minimum, she will be in it because Mike Flanagan loves his wife and puts her in everything, and I think that's beautiful. But what do you think about a Clayface movie? Also, who's your favorite Batman villain? You now know that Clayface is my third, so who are your top 3? I would love to hear from you. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Turkey Bites, and I will see you next time. Bye!